And we are back. Power rankings. End of season power rankings. We did it. We made it through the whole entire NFL season, playoffs and all. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing we did. And here we go. By the way, am going to be doing based off of Week 18 power rankings, not the playoff ones, because there's only 14 teams, not all 32, as well as what they were at the beginning of the season. For example, at number 32, we have the Raiders, who based off of Week 18's, and that's always going to be the number I say first, they're going to be staying the same at 3-14. But based off of my Week 1 rankings, they're actually going down 9 spots from where they started. I thought this team would be a bit better this season. Obviously, I thought Pete Carroll and Geno Smith weren't going to be, past the curb. Well, Pete Carroll I did. Geno Smith I did not think, but I was wrong. All right, this team's stanking up this year. The good news is you get the first overall pick. You are hiring Clinton Kubiak from the Seahawks as your new head coach. Probably going to draft Fernando Mendoza, I'd imagine. But then again, it is the Raiders. They have been known to make surprise picks. None of them have been really working out for them. I mean, you look at guys like Clelin Ferrell, Damon Arnett. Those are guys who did not pan out. So, yeah, definitely think this team should be looking forward to next year, obviously, with that new head coach and that first overall pick. 3-14 couldn't do any worse. I mean, you were the worst team. And that was even with winning Week 18 against the Chiefs, who were playing their 10th-string quarterback, felt like. Yeah. At number 31, we have the Cardinals, who are going to be going down a spot, as well as going down 12 spots from the Week 1 rankings. They end off their season with a loss to the Rams. I am going to be a bit rusty, by the way. Don't remember a lot of these Week 18 games. It has been a month, pretty much, so bear with me. But yeah, I thought you definitely would be a decent team. I didn't think, you'd be a playoff caliber team. I thought you'd be hovering around that 500 range you did last year. I want to say you went 8-9. Thought you'd be right around that same range. Unfortunately not. Kyler Murray did not play very well. John Buchanan gets the boot. He's now defensive coordinator for Green Bay. I ultimately just think this wasn't your year. You're in a tough spot now. Do you want to, with your first-round pick, I don't think there's any quarterback worth taking in the first round besides Mendoza, which if he goes, past that first overall pick, I'd be surprised. If he goes past the second overall pick with the Jets as well, I'd be even more surprised. Don't know if you want to take a quarterback, so are you going to potentially roll with Kyler Murray? Are you going to look to sign a guy in free agency, maybe get a steal in the draft in like the round 2 or 3? Who knows? At number 30, we have the Jets, 3-14, going up a spot, as well as down 4 spots from the season start. I think I was pretty spot on with this team. Aaron Glenn, not going to say he's a bad head coach because, if you are able to succeed with that talent in your first year as a head coach, congratulations. But I don't think there's a human in this world who could do that. So, no hard feelings towards him. Justin Fields played horrific. Tyrod Taylor actually played decent. Don't think you want to roll with him as your future quarterback, though. Obviously, with the second overall pick, Dante Moore was your guy. He goes back to college. Who knows who you're going to end up drafting? I definitely could see this team going after maybe a Ty Simpson type of player in round 2. So, we'll see what they end up doing. Unfortunately for you guys, you're just kind of in a tough spot because you don't get that first overall pick, and there's really only one quarterback, in my opinion, worth going in the first round. 29, we got the Titans, very spot on, down a spot compared to last week, compared to season start. This team actually played pretty well towards the stretch of the season, saw a lot of flashes from them. Weren't able to get really any of those as wins, but, you look good at least. That's the bright side. Hopefully, you're able to go into this draft being able to fix all your needs, or at least attempt to. Because I definitely could see this team in the next year or so, 2 years, give or take, competing for a playoff spot, competing for a potential dark horse Super Bowl pick. I really do like Cam Ward. Your rookie receivers in Chimere Dike and Elik Iomanor, sorry if I mispronounced that, they played well. Don't think you want to roll with them as your top 2 receivers, but for this year, there is a loud car. I don't know if you can hear it. For this year, I mean, this was a definitely a learning year for a lot of guys. This was a very lackluster team going into it, and yeah, they filled the part, but they also exceeded expectations by showing that they do have what it takes to be a good team. 28, we have the Browns, who are 5-12, down 3 spots, up 2 spots. I do think this team is in a very good spot as well. My concern with them is, what do you do with the quarterback? Because same thing for them. You're obviously not going to take a quarterback in the first round. There's nobody worth taking. Do you take a guy in round 2? Do you roll Shedeur Sanders? Do you roll Dylan Gabriel? What kind of choice do you make? Because the Browns have always been this way. They have been a really, really, really good team. They've just had an abysmal quarterback every year. I mean, you just had Myles Garrett win Defensive Player of the Year. I want to say it was unanimously, if I think I remember correctly, as well as breaking the single-season sack record. Like, this team is amazing. They just don't have a single caller to lead them to the promised land. Don't know if Shedeur's going to be that guy. Don't know if Dylan Gabriel is going to be that guy. Don't know whoever you draft, if you draft someone's going to be it. Don't know if you sign a free agent. I mean, there's not really many guys who are going to be free agents. I could potentially see this team making a trade for potentially Tua or Kyler Murray, give or take one of those two. They definitely could surprise me there. So, yeah, we'll see. 27, we got the Commanders staying the same, down 21 spots. Just unfortunate with all the injuries they dealt with. Jane Daniels struggling to stay on the field. This team obviously made the NFC Championship game last year. And I'm not going to say, they're done. They're one-year wonders. Because, I mean, with everything they had to go through this year, they get a pass. I do think this team will definitely be back next year, assuming, they're able to stay healthy. But this year was just one of those where it just wasn't meant to be. The bright side is you are going to get a good pick, so you are able to go ahead and potentially get that difference maker. Obviously, you made the championship game with Jane Daniels in year 1. You're still going into year 3. Get that difference maker to help you achieve that goal. 26, we have the Chiefs, who are 6-11, staying the same, down 24 spots. Which, if I'm not mistaken, a little spoiler, that is the biggest drop of this list. We'll talk about the biggest rise of the list when we get to that team. But yeah, this was just a lackluster year, obviously. The team was not as good. You could argue that they got figured out. You could argue that, the game's gone past Andy Reid now. Who knows? With all that being said, this is a good scenario for the Chiefs, as they are going to get that top 10 pick. I believe it's pick number 9. I could be wrong, but I think. To get that difference maker. Obviously, the Chiefs have a lot of issues. It looks like, they could use addressing. They're obviously never going to be out of it with Patrick Mahomes, who, even though, yes, he had a down year, he was still trying to work his magic, and he was still doing it to a good degree. Obviously not, MVP or anything, but I do think this team is definitely going to have to figure out what their, future is going to look like, because you have this generational quarterback who was on pace to pass Brady. Are you going to be able to build off of, that success you've had early, or are you going to kind of fall into this rabbit hole where you're trying to, make the most of what you got? I don't know. We're going to find out, obviously, next year in this draft. Yeah. 25, we have the Giants, up 4 spots, up 2 spots. This was a really good year for them. Obviously, the injuries killed them, losing Malik Neighbors, your, strong second-year guy who was, making a really good buzz, arguably top 10 receiver buzz. Cam Skadbu, who was having a dominant rookie season, goes out for the season. Jackson Dart kept coming in and out with concussions and all of that. This team is really good, is what I'm trying to say. Very young, very promising. They do have a new head coach in John Harbaugh, who has been to the Super Bowl, has won it, has had success, with quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Joe Flacco, had good teams. We'll see if this is the guy who's able to turn them around. Obviously, Harbaugh is not a young coach anymore. He's in his 60s. So I think he was obviously a top head coach candidate. He does not want to rebuild. He wants to, be in a position where he can compete for what will probably be his final few years. I doubt he's going to be going for much, much longer. So, yeah, obviously he has hopes in the Giants. A lot of people are going to have hopes in the Giants. They end up with that, abysmal record. I don't think they have their first-round pick because of that Jackson Dart trade. But, I mean, they're in a position to, with their, round 2, round 3 picks to go get some difference makers. And we'll see if this team's able to build. They are going to have a tough path, though. Cowboys had a really good offense this year. Dak Prescott being him. Jane Daniels, obviously, last year was really good. Sucks the injuries happened. And then the Eagles, back-to-back NFC East champs, first time since, 2000 or something. So, yeah. 24, we got the Dolphins, who are 7-10. They're going to be staying the same, up one spot. I nailed this pick from week 1, it looks like. This was a really average year for them. Obviously, it looked like it was going to be really bad. Played a bunch of tough opponents to kind of get to the easier part of their schedule, and all of a sudden they turned their season around, and then they just had the wheels fall off. Tua is the big question mark. What are you going to do there? You obviously have Quinn Ewers as your backup. Maybe you look to roll with him, or maybe even Zach Wilson. Obviously, Jeff Halfley gets hired there, so maybe even go after Malik Lewis in free agency. A lot of potential for this Dolphins team. My big concern is, first-year head coach and whoever their quarterback's going to be. Because I think in your division, where you just had the Patriots who made the Super Bowl and the Bills, who were one of the scariest teams in the league, who weren't supposed to be. They were supposed to be a down year for them. I would be nervous. I'd be optimistic but nervous. This could be a lengthy process. Could be a 3-year process, because not only do you have to be good, but you have to match, these teams who are at the top of the league in your division. So that's definitely where it's going to suck, because obviously you got the Jets, but you're looking at the Bills and the Patriots. Those are almost going to be 4 losses right there. So little to no mistakes for the rest of the year. 23, we got the Saints, who are staying the same, up 9 spots. I thought they were going to be the worst team in the league. They ended up looking phenomenal. Yes, they do end with a loss to Atlanta in Week 18, but they played really well. Tyler Shuck obviously won Pepsi Rookie of the Year, not the actual Rookie of the Year. This was the fan-voted one. So, obviously, the fans think he has a lot of potential. I do, too. I'd like to apologize to him. I thought he was a bust. He obviously proved me wrong. I do think this team has some potential. The only issue with them is, obviously, their cap space has been abysmal for years now. I do think it is on the rise this year. I think they actually have a lot. I could be wrong. But that's because they have a lot of these old guys. Alvin Kamara's not getting any younger. Demario Davis, Cam Jordan. Those are the 3 guys from this decade, pretty much. All on the wrong side of, 30. I mean, any side on 30 in the NFL is definitely something to be worried about. So, with this team, my big question is, are they going to be able to replace, or, are these guys who maybe they stay around again, are they going to be able to play up to the level that they have been? I don't know if they are, because those are some really big names of really great players, and it's going to be very tough to replace them. 22, we got them boys, 7-9-1, staying the same, down spot. I was very accurate with this team as well. This was just a very obvious year for them. You lose Micah Parsons, your defense is in shambles. Dak tried his best to carry this offense, was not able to. 7-9-1, that's not really a bad season. Not a great one, especially when it's in your first year with Brian Schottenheimer as your head coach. Obviously shows a lot of promise there. We'll see if he's able to build off of it. With the Cowboys, I do think they're in a good spot. They just really have to address that defense. I have to hope that they bring back George Pickens, because, that would just be stupid if they didn't. I think he will be the top free agent guy if he does not get re-signed. So, with that being said, Cowboys, go get your receiver. And then in the draft, whatever free agency money you have left, if any, go get your defensive guys. Because you have 2 first-round picks. Obviously, you have Green Bay's. So you should be able to address these teams in these positions really well. Number 21, we got the Bengals. 6-11. They're staying the same, down 8 spots. Just another year where you can write it off the injuries. And this is just going to be a common trend with this team. Going into the season, you're expecting, Super Bowl, or, to be one of the best teams in the league. And then the reality is, you're looking at the hospital half the time. The big issue with them is they are so reliant on Joe Burrow that when he goes down, the team goes down. So, yeah, that is my big concern, is they have to protect him. You got to address the O-line. You got to address the defense. Those are your two big needs. You suspend every draft pick you have. I don't care about, maybe there's a good value tight end, or maybe we want to get a receiver again, or, a 1-2 punch at running back. No. Get your needs, and that's the end of it. Number 20, we have the Colts, 8 and 9. They're going down a spot. They're going up. They're either going up 9 spots or 4 spots. I'm going to be honest, I can't read my own handwriting. I'll go ahead and quickly try and figure it out. But this was a good year for them. It sucks how it ended. Obviously, Daniel Jones was balling out. But unfortunately for them, they just couldn't, move on without him. Obviously, they tried with Phillip Rivers. I love the attempt. He actually kept it close for a lot of games. But unfortunately, didn't quite go their way. My big thing is, do you bring back Daniel Jones? Do you try and give Anthony Richardson another chance? Because you're obviously not getting a quarterback in this draft. I don't think you should. Daniel Jones' injury is definitely an off-putting thing. He probably will be demanding a decent amount of money as well. So who knows? I do think this team has a lot of potential. We saw them with their quarterback. My question is, though, who is going to be their quarterback in 2026, 2027? By the way, up 9 spots. Up 9 spots. Not 4, 9. 19, we have the Ravens, who are down 4 spots. Down 16. Oh, I accidentally went sideways. This team, just unfortunate for them. Obviously, this was, one of those years where there was so many teams who made the playoffs who, were new. Obviously, you look at the Bills being really, the only returning team who was a threat. Maybe you could have argued Houston with that defense, but we saw how they played on offense. We'll get to them later. The Ravens, you lose Lamar for a bit of time. You obviously go in that Week 18 winning in game with the Steelers, and you end up losing. That's just kind of how that season went. A lot of games they could have won, should have won, and they ended up losing. And ultimately, that was the nail in their coffin. I do think this team will definitely be back. They are going to obviously have a bit of a different head coach. They have not had that in quite some time. And we'll see if he's able to do well. I'm trying to remember who they hired, but for some reason I can't. So, apologies there. At number 18, we have the Falcons, who are 8 and 9, going down 2 and up 2. Very mediocre year. Obviously, Michael Penix gets injured, so you rely on Kirk Cousins for a decent part. Drake London was dealing with injuries, and even when he was playing, wasn't being very productive. Bijan obviously did amazing. Kyle Pitts had, his rookie year flashes again. So we'll see what you end up doing there if you like to re-sign him, franchise tag him, let him walk. You obviously let Raheem Morris go. You brought in, was it Mike LaFleur, I want to say the Falcons brought in? I could be wrong, the Rams offensive coordinator. Yeah, I do think this team is definitely going to be good. Obviously, it just wasn't their year. Bless me. I am a very big Michael Penix believer. I have such high expectations for him. It sucks that, he hasn't been able to show them yet. He has definitely shown those flashes. And I really do like this team. And it's, unfortunately for me, going to come down to Michael Penix. Is he able to play at the level I think he's capable of? That's going to be the big difference maker. Is he able to play at that level and stay on the field? Because the last thing you want is for Kirk Cousins being your quarterback again. He's a good quarterback, very serviceable, average, but he's not going to be that difference maker for this team who needs a difference maker. 17, we got the Buccaneers up 3 spots, down 7 spots. Did not expect this team to have a losing record. I thought they were going to be a really good team this year. Unfortunately for them, they were not. They were not. Disappointing as always. You elect to stay with Todd Bowles as your head coach. You've kind of been the same team now for a few years, hovering around that 8-9 win mark. Getting in because, your division is poo-poo caca. That means shit. Yes. I don't agree with this Todd Bowles decision. I think he should be gone. This team, just plain simple, has the talent to be good. They're being held back by something. I don't know if it's, the comfortability of, we play in a bad division, so we can afford to lose a few games. And obviously, that happened. They were, winning in at one point, and they didn't win. So, yeah, I don't know if it's that, but they basically need to win games. They cannot just expect to get in because they win their division. They need to be in the playoffs because they earned their spot, not because they went 9-8 and the next best team went 7-10. That's not supposed to happen. Number 16, we had the Vikings, 9-8, down 3 and down 5. This was a interesting year. Obviously, the hype behind J.J. McCarthy was real. I was a big believer in that. I thought he was going to be a lot better than he was. Granted, he did show some flashes towards the end of the season. We'll see, obviously, if that translates. We'll see if the Vikings elect to stick with him. I think it's ridiculous to move on from a guy after his first year as a starter. Especially when you spent the 9th overall pick, 10th overall pick on him. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. So, I don't understand it. The big thing is Justin Jefferson Wash was a quarterback thing, a system thing. Because obviously this team went 9-8. They started out abysmal. They were able to turn it around. Obviously Kevin O'Connell is a tremendous head coach. So, yeah, I do think this team is obviously going in the right direction. This was just a down year. Probably to learn, the quarterbacks and stuff and get, a feel. I think this team will be back. Don't worry, Vikings fans. I think they will be fine. 15, we got the Lions, 9-8, up 2, down 7. Very disappointing year, coming off of a 15-2 year as a number 1 seed. And yes, you did lose in the first round of the playoffs, well, second round, but your first game. To go from that to missing the playoffs entirely and somehow going 9-8 and being worst team in your division. That just says something. I do think this Lions team is just in a different spot. I mean, obviously they lose their stud coordinators in the same season. It's going to be tough to, replace them. And obviously we saw that. This team will probably be good, in year 2 with these guys. Or some of them, I don't know if you're going to keep them both. So, I wouldn't be worried too much. All right, this was just a learning year, But with that being said, this team is not in the position to be in a learning year. I mean, this is a win-now team, and you guys didn't even make the playoffs. That's the big issue I see from a lot of fans, and I completely understand that. I agree. 14, we got the Steelers. They ended up going, give me 1 second, 10-7, 0-1 in the playoffs. This is our first playoff teams. Every team from here is in the playoffs. And then stayed the same, up 1 spot. I mean, you're starting to notice a trend here. For certain teams, I'm hitting this, head-on hammer. This was a good year for them. Obviously, it was the same year as always. They hover around that 500 mark. They end up getting the 500 mark. They end up getting the playoffs somehow. And they end up getting blown out in the playoffs. And it's like, well, this team every year just seems to take up a playoff spot. No different this year. Question is, who's going to be your new head coach? Obviously, it's Mike McCarthy. I don't agree with that. How well he's going to do. Aaron Rodgers, is he going to be back? Is he going to retire? Is he going to go to a new team? Questions about that. For the Steelers, personally, I think next year is going to be a very eye-opening year. That's going to, determine your team for the next few years. Are you going to be a good team or a bad team? I think we're going to find out. I think we're done with that 500 era now that Tomlin's gone. Which, by the way, he stepped down, so he's still under contract with the Steelers, but, if he decides to come back, he could go with them, he could get traded. Who knows? He did not get fired. He stepped down. 13, we had the Panthers at 8-9, who went 0-1 in the playoffs, who ended up going +5 and +15. Really great year for them. I thought Bryce Young was going to take that next step, and he definitely didn't, but also did at the same time. Or I guess you could say he did, but not as much as I was hoping. To the point where I still wonder, is he going to be this team's starting quarterback? With how flashes he showed, especially in that playoff game versus the Rams, I think you definitely have to say yes. But yeah, they unfortunately couldn't get it done against the Rams in the playoffs. They were really close and just fell short. But I think this team is in a good spot. Obviously, this was, one of those years where you weren't expecting too much, and they ended up making the playoffs and almost beating one of the favorites. So, I would not be complaining. Number 12, we got the Chargers. 11-6, 0-1 in the playoffs. Down 3 spots, staying the same. Nailed this one from week 1. Yeah. Starting to wonder, is Justin Herbert going to be the next Philip Rivers? Can't get it done in the playoffs. This team obviously did really well in the regular season. They did rest their stars week 18, so they were realistically 11-5. So yeah, I would definitely feel good about this team going for the next few years. It's just, can they win the playoff games? That's the new narrative. It's no longer are they gonna make the playoffs and stuff? No, it's, can they win a playoff game? That's gonna be the question. For now, the answer is no. We'll see if they're able to change that. You got to take advantage of this as well while the Chiefs are, on the down. We'll see, obviously, what they do there. 11, we got Green Bay, 9-7-1, 0-1 in the playoffs, +1, down 4. This was supposed to be their year. I'm a Packers fan, so I might be biased. I seriously thought this was our year. I thought we were going to be hoisting that Lombardi. Unfortunately, not. There are a few things you could write it up to. Obviously, Jordan Love playing injured a lot of time, missing time, but even then, Malik Willis stepped in and looked phenomenal. Micah Parsons obviously getting injured was kind of that gut-blowing feeling where it's like, okay, I don't think we're going to be doing that anymore. This team, in my opinion, though, shows a lot of flashes. They desperately need to address cornerback. That should be their big priority for, the second, third round. Get some O-line depth as well, because that was a big one with all the injuries that happened to that O-line. If they're able to stay healthy, they should be good. So, yeah, Green Bay, I think, is in a good spot. Obviously, as a fan, I know what their weaknesses are. If they're able to address that, I think we're back to contending. Number 10, we got the Eagles, 11-6, 0-1, staying the same, down 9 spots. We can write this up to Kevin Patullo. There's not anything else that needs to be said. Their offense was abysmal compared to last year. Obviously, Kellen Moore going to the Saints. They lose their offensive coordinator, bring in this Kevin Patullo guy, and he stinks it up. So, yeah, if I'm the Eagles, I'm now wondering, was it a Kevin Patullo issue or is that an offense issue? Is A.J. Brown going to be on the team next year? Is he going to be that wide receiver 1? Do you expect Devontae Smith? What do you do? The offense is a big question. The defense we obviously know is top tier. The offense, don't know a whole lot about. They have the question marks. Number 9, we got Duval, 13-4, 0-1, -6 spots, up 9 spots. This was a great year for them, going from worst to first, and they weren't worst. Excuse me, that was the Titans. But they went from, it was like 3-4 wins to 13-4. Really great. Almost beat the Bills in the playoffs. I think this team's only going to be going on the rise, and this was just a start. So there's really not anything that needs to be said besides this team. Sky's the limit. We'll see, obviously, if they're able to go to the sky or if they're going to, fall face first to the ground. Yeah. Number 8, we got Texans, 12-5, 1-1 in the playoffs, staying the same, up 6 spots. You've seriously got to wonder, is C.J. Stroud your guy? Because he played abysmal in both playoff games. Your defense bailed you out in the first one. I obviously am going to have to roll with him because you spent the second overall pick on him. You've had all this playoff success with him. So, yeah, I think he is going to be your guy for this year, but he's seriously going to have to, turn into that rookie season form if he wants to and build off that because he's had back-to-back down years. And in the NFL, I mean, you can't be, on that long leash like you can in, other places potentially. He has got to perform. They will replace you on the spot. Because Davis Mills, I don't know if they want to roll with him, but he looked amazing when he played. Number 7, we got the 49ers, 12-5, 1-1, -3, up 10. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about this team. All I'm going to say is injuries. They went 11-6, 12-5, and won a playoff game. And you probably couldn't even name every player on the field, right? You'd be like, George Kittle. No, he missed some time. Brock Purdy missed some time. Brandon Ayuk missed time, not due to him being injured, but due to him being an idiot. Antonio Brown 2.0 maybe. Who knows? But yeah, this team did it while injured. I would be so hopeful that next year, if you're able to stay healthy, and this has always been the thing with the 49ers, we know they're a good team. It's if they can stay healthy. Who knows? Number 6, we got Buffalo, 12-5, 1-1, up 5 spots, down 2 spots. This was obviously, in my opinion, a year where you weren't expected to do very well. You did. You ought to say to Sean McDermott, hey, you're a great head coach, and I don't think there's any denying that, but we're going to move on from you. And that's a good choice, in my opinion. He hasn't won you it. This is a team that has been in win-now mode for a few years now, and you just haven't got it done. You look to promote Joe Brady staying in, team, which I think is a question mark. But yeah, I like this move. I think this team will be on the rise. Maybe they can get that playoff success and hoist that Lombardi that they've been chasing for years now. I didn't think I'd be talking about them. The Bears, 11-6, 1-1, +1, +11 at number 5. This was a phenomenal year for them. I mean, the amount of clutch moments they pulled out of their ass was top tier. My big concern with them is those clutch moments. A lot of the games they had to come back and win and were super close. Say you lose those games. You look like a bad team. If they're in the same position again next year and, Iceman is not so ice, maybe he's melted, then we have an issue. Obviously, I'm hoping that happens as a Packers fan, but as a Bears fan or an NFL fan, they were so fun to watch this year. I will give them credit for that. What I want to see them do next year, though, is I want to see them win comfortably. I don't want to see them having to rely on these, late quarter magic plays. Right? I want to see them be able to control the game in the fourth quarter, not be, relying on, their offense and their defense and whatnot. Number 4, we got the Patriots, 14-3, 3-1, down 2 spots, up 20 spots. You end up losing in the Super Bowl, and you looked embarrassingly bad. Yes, I know the Broncos are above them. Sue me. You beat Jarrett Stidham by a field goal and scored 10 points. This team, and I'm so glad that we're able to say this, because all the Drake May stands and all that should have won MVP. They're going to prove them wrong in the Super Bowl. You guys only made it because of your schedule. Who did you beat in the playoffs? You beat the Chargers, who have been known to choke and suck in the playoffs. Who'd you beat in the divisional round? The Texans, who have been known to be divisional rounds, exits, who had the worst playoff quarterback we might have ever seen. And at any point, Jarrett Stidham in the championship game. Not even Bo Nix. You guys were good because of your weak schedule. And now you're going to have to play these first-place teams next year. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm not confident in you guys anymore. You had a great year this year, but you weren't able to win it all. And this was your window. All right? Now, granted, if you're able to prove me wrong next year and actually beat good teams, then I'll take it all back. But as for now, I don't see that. I see you guys finishing right around that 500 range. Maybe you sneak into the playoffs. Who knows? I don't, because it's not done yet. But I'm not confident in this team. Number 3, we have the Broncos, 14-3, 1-1, +2 spots, +6 spots. They had a great year. I was not expecting them to be this good. I was expecting them to be right around where they were last year. Granted, I gave them so much shit because they were winning games by 1 scores. They got the 1 seed doing that. They were able to beat the Bills in the playoffs. This was the Bills' year. No Mahomes, no Allen, no Burrow. And the Bills lost to Bo Nix. With that being said, I think Bo Nix is not as good as people are hyping him up to be. Definitely think he's better than Jarrett Stidham. Definitely think you win this game if you don't play. You beat the Patriots with Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham. I still think the Super Bowl was the same result, by the way. I think the Seahawks would have won regardless. So with that being said, congrats on your podium. You get 3rd place this year. Number 2, we got the Rams. Great year. Unfortunately for you, you had to play the Seahawks in the championship game. This was a tale of, the 2 best teams having to play. And unfortunately for you guys, you were the losers, going 12-5, 2-1, up 3 spots, up 5 spots. You do have a bright spot, though. You do get MVP with Matthew Stafford. Hopefully he's able to build off that. Because he was 37, by the way, and he did this. So hopefully, the wheels don't fall off now. And I do think this team will be back. I mean, come on. Number 1, obviously, it's the 14-3 Seahawks who went 3-0 in the playoffs. The only team who didn't lose a playoff game, obviously, only one of them can. Staying the same, and with our best leap of the year, up 21 spots. I thought this team was going to be mediocre. I thought Sam Darnold was a system merchant with the Vikings. I thought they were going to realize, JSN is not that true number 1 receiver. I'll say it. I was not only wrong, I could not have been more wrong. Sam Darnold, granted, he didn't play like, the greatest quarterback, But he definitely is not a system quarterback. He is, in my opinion, a above average, not top 10 quarterback. I think he's going to be around that, 10 to 15 range for a lot of people. Jackson Smith-Njigba, the Emerald City Route Artist. Love that nickname, by the way. I know people are clowning on. I actually think it's really cool. It's super long, but I think it's cool. Obviously, wins Offensive Player of the Year. He balled out. My concern is obviously I don't know if he's going to have quite as good of a year next year. Obviously, it's going to be really hard to up that when you lead the league in receiving yards. So, yeah, I do think this team is good. I think they have a good shot at repeating. I think Mike Macdonald is a amazing head coach. The question's going to be, though, are they going to repeat? Obviously, that's the big question whenever someone wins the Super Bowl is, well, you got the Super Bowl, now defend it. But that is going to do it for this episode and this season of Power Rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. I will see you guys next time with either Raiders franchise or mock drafts, 1 to 2, or maybe some stupid video. But yeah, see you next time. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.